Hi there, welcome to Ep.001 of the M&T Podcast. We don't know what we're doing. I'm going to introduce you right now to my wonderful wife.
Hello.
There she is. She is the tea of the M&T, and she makes a good cup of tea. Tiffany Bennett.
Wow, that was so lovely. Thank you so much. And I guess that means I have to introduce my husband, who is already talking, Matt Bennett. Fun fact about Matt. What do you do, actually?
Have you got anything?
No. I have absolutely nothing about you.
Well, if anything, certainly sets the tone for what this podcast will be like.
So I'm bringing all the fun and you...
Well, it's that you don't know anything about me, and I think you make a good cup of tea.
Wow.
Yeah.
God.
Anyway, in this episode, we talk about why we're making the podcast in the first place, living in Dubai, the fact that we're moving. We talk about wine a little bit. I talk a little bit about why you annoy me, and that's pretty much it.
So we're obviously very excited for you to listen to the first episode of the M&T Podcast. So here it is. Enjoy! How excited.
All right.
I'm going to pour the wine.
Okay, good. Let's start there.
You have to put the microphone
put your
down.
microphone down. While Tiff is doing that, we must explain, and those who are watching on YouTube, you can see, we don't yet have stands for our microphones, so we're having to hold them, which is a bit awkward. But Tifla, tell us what we're drinking this evening.
This week. Oh, I have to do this again. This week we are drinking Bantry Bay, Banners, Rosé from South Africa.
Is it a 2018?
Why are you asking me that? 2019. Why?
The 2018 was a classic vintage
You're
of the
an idiot.
Bantry Bay.
That's
How
legit.
wonderful. How wonderful. So, welcome to episode 1 of the M&T Podcast, where, as you would have heard from our...
You can keep talking, you know.
teaser, well, you know, you're banging around making noise. Yeah, from our teaser, you will know that Tifla's idea for a podcast is to crack open a bottle of wine and just see what happens. So, cheers. Here is to the Bantry Bay 2019 Rosé.
I also think that people could pour a glass and sit and listen to this. Maybe you listen to a podcast in a gym. Maybe you listen to it while you're out walking. But there's a third option. Pour a drink. Have a listen.
I love that. Maybe if you're a...
Can that be our tagline?
Pour a drink, have a listen.
Have a listen.
Worst tagline ever.
Yeah, it's
also
pretty
not
bad.
great for those who like to listen to podcasts when they're driving to work, for example.
Oh, no, don't pour a glass in.
No.
You could get like a drive-through Starbucks.
Yeah, and, you know, sort of like breathe in those aromas.
What's your go-to Starbucks?
Mine, hazelnut latte.
I had a iced Americano the other day and I haven't had one of those in a while.
Do you know, it's kind of the problem in living in such a hot country is you can't really appreciate those amazing, like, morning coffees that you get from a Starbucks on your way into work.
No, because it always has to be cold.
Because usually you're already sweating gallons.
Lovely.
Anyway, so we thought episode 1 we would just have a bit of a chat about like why we're even doing this.
Why are we here?
If it's not obvious already, we don't really know what we're doing, but we bought loads of stuff and we've practiced.
Ta-da!
And yeah, we thought we'd give a podcast a go. So why do you think, Tifla, why are we doing this?
To go global. No, I think like we have our YouTube channel. We both have our socials. We're quite active. I obviously now have my blog, TiffanyBennett.com. And
Great plug.
like,
I mean,
it was wrong anyway because
we're
it's Tiffany-Bennett.com.
we're 3 minutes in. You plugged yourself and you did it wrong.
But I think that having a podcast is just another way to like get us out there, and especially because we are far away from obviously all of our family and a lot of our friends.
Yeah.
It's another way to have us in your ears. You're welcome.
I know. I feel as if people have missed us in their ears.
No problem. They didn't know they needed it.
Yeah, no one knew they needed this podcast, but they've got it anyway.
Now that's happened. But I think it's going to be fun, and I think we can have a glass/bottle of wine and see how it goes, and then eventually we'll have on guests. We've already got some ideas for that we were chatting on the way.
Guests are welcome. If you want to be a guest on this podcast, message us.
Yeah, and that would be amazing. We're going to do Table 8 talks.
Absolutely.
So anyone who was on Table 8 at the wedding, you can come on and be part of our very special.
I guess at some point
talks.
in a future podcast, we'll have to explain what Table 8 is.
Oh, we'll need the vegan for that, and we don't need him as a guest.
Not yet. We're not ready. The world's not ready for the vegan.
What do you think of the wine?
It's sweet, but I think that's because we put a splash of 7-Up in it.
Yeah, and that's generally what we do with rosé. It's like our holiday drink.
It is. It makes it just go down a little bit easier.
Yeah, so a glass of rosé with a splash is our go-to.
So far, I'm enjoying.
I like it. It's great. Let's delve into what we've been doing this week. What have you been up to?
Oh, God. Well, obviously, we're still in Dubai. For those who are watching us on YouTube, you will see that we're in our dark and dingy kind of hotel apartment.
It's really well lit.
If the microphones are good enough, you'll also hear that there's construction work going on outside.
There's a truck
right
reversing into the 22nd floor.
This week has all been about sort of getting back to work here for me. So as we record this podcast, I'm still working at Apple. Obviously, that is only temporary before we move on to the big move. But this week has all been about reopening our store after a long lockdown.
How many weeks were you off?
I think 13. 13 weeks in total that I was off
13
work.
weeks in a hotel room.
Yeah.
Delightful.
That's a story in itself.
Oh. Yeah, so that's been good. It's been weird. I had to eat dinner on my own for the first time in
because we got really
many a month.
We got into a routine, didn't we? So we were doing certain parts of the day together, like having dinner together and having TV time together. And just work has already sort of meant that that's not possible every single day. But
in other ways, it has been really good because I haven't had to if I'm working sitting here, this is the desk that I work on where we're sat now, and I don't have to listen to you eating or
which you hate.
Yeah, or slurping away at a cup of soup. Or
oh, I didn't realise that.
So I've had some really serene moments in the past week. It's been nice to have my own time, but at times it has been lonely because I've just been sat here working away, and then I'm I actually have to work the entire time and not distract.
Yeah, because we kind of distract each other. I think during the lockdown we had moments where could we work together or could we really not work together?
We did really well.
I think we did well.
That's a test of a marriage.
I think it certainly is. Working either in the same room / office or even working together on things is a test.
Did you find anything hard, difficult working from here and being here and me being here as well?
Do you know what I found hard is because obviously I was still working. I was still doing my job from here. You've never seen me in work mode or heard me in work mode. And
take the mic.
There is definitely a mode that you get into when you're at work and you've never seen or heard that.
Your voice change.
Well, I think everybody does. But you, when you're on the phone to your clients and to people, I'm oh, who's this posh cow that I've never met before? She's so polite.
Oh, I am.
You're never that polite to me.
I'm a delight.
So I just think, again, it's a bit of a test. I'm sure lots of people had this during lockdown where you sort of saw, especially if one of the other half was still working or on conference calls or Zooms or whatever, probably saw another side of their spouse that maybe they hadn't before.
Yeah, it's weird when you got on basically a conference call with your team and you were being all managerial. I was like, excuse me?
I know.
Who is this? Because I'm the manager of
You're
this
the manager, yeah. You're not used to hearing me actually be assertive in any way ever.
Super quick backup thing. Can you change the time to see the time and not the beats per
Not
minute?
now that we're going.
Even on that little arrow?
No, that's not what it does.
Darn it.
And I don't want to play with things. I mean, fuck it, I'm going to play with it.
There you go, time. That's what you needed. That's all I
Okay,
asked.
cool. So
legend, so we know how long we've been going and how long. Because we're recording to go on YouTube as well. We're doing it all on our vlogging camera, and the camera can only record for half an hour. So if we start droning on, then we're going to have to stop and start.
The podcast will be
Wah!
lovely. The YouTube video could just cut out at any moment.
Anything can happen.
So we're putting ourselves on both mediums, right? Because we do already have a bit of a following on YouTube.
Yeah, and me being in the social media marketing world per se, I know that it's best to get everything out on as many mediums as possible. That's why I made sure. Well, I didn't even think about Spotify until today, but we're on Spotify. We're being approved on Apple. We'll be on YouTube, and I might even SoundCloud.
Wow.
Then you have to remember to post everywhere, and that's really confusing. But
you are a social media person, so
it is what I do.
It is what you do.
Such a
fake
douche.
It till you make it.
I am such a douche. Oh dear.
So we've been out for dinner this evening.
Yeah, we just got back from dinner. We went to Stars and Bars, for those that know Dubai and Abu Dhabi. It's basically an American bar. I thought it would be good for us to get out. It's officially our 5-year anniversary of being in the UAE.
Today.
So I was like, let's make it a little bit special and not...
I didn't realise it was supposed to be special.
Oh.
I
thought it was special. Thank you.
Well, you had a steak and I had a burger.
I did
and we
have
had
a
some
steak.
beers.
And do you ever think if a girl orders a steak and a guy does, if you're not both having steak... I always think that steak's a bit manly. I had a 300-gram whatever.
Do you know what? Maybe, but I think because I've been married for you as long as I have, I'm just used to it now. Yeah, she'll have the steak and a pint, and I'll have a white wine spritzer and a prawn cocktail.
You have a pina colada and a salad.
Yeah, because. Yeah, that's kind of how we are.
I did think that, and I thought that as we were having dinner, which was lovely. So this week for me has been, what did I do? Just been working, because now I'm doing my own thing, and what you said about you've been working this entire time for 13 weeks, being on lockdown, and I finished my official job with Wicked, and then kind of started my new role in being a freelancer, what I do. So I had that element of, I'm finished at work now, I'm ready to leave the country, I'm ready to start the next phase of our lives, whereas you are very much still in work mode, Apple mode. You're not ready to leave yet because you're not finished yet, whereas I've kind of gone through that, and I think I said before, we're in a different place.
Yeah.
And we have to recognise that in each other, and kind of not get annoyed with you when I'm trying to plan stuff in the future and you're not there yet, and you not getting annoyed with me when I'm trying to get things done. Is really it's difficult to navigate, but I think we've done all right. We haven't killed each other, and we're in a little one-bed apartment.
We just keep talking about it.
Yeah.
I guess it's worth at this stage on episode 1 us also mentioning, in case anyone is listening that hasn't been following our story or our blog at all.
Well, go to my blog first and then get the backup.
God,
I need traffic on the website.
You are just plugging everywhere.
Links will be in the show notes. I'm such a podcaster.
Oh my God. And on YouTube, they'll be in the description below. We are right now 3 weeks away from flying out of the UAE. We've been here for 5 years today, and very, very long story short, but we are moving to Ibiza. That's where we're going to set up our next phase of our lives. It's kind of where we want to spend
the rest of our lives. And you do have to explain to people that we're not going there for a season.
Yeah.
We're actually going there to grow old and be hippies.
Again, now I think about it, I think that's a podcast all on its own.
That can be the story. But people can ask us questions about it. We can put out a little thing some weeks down the line and be like, what do you want to know?
Yeah.
And then people can...
Because people do have questions. I guess we probably underestimate a little bit that already we are doing something fairly significant in that we live and work in Dubai, which not many people do. I mean, we think a lot of people do because we're there we're around them all the time, but we're actually ditching that, and we're going to go start something all completely different all over again. And so there is definitely going to be a story rolling throughout our podcasts.
Yeah.
Because within a few weeks we'll be cracking open a bottle of wine, but on the small Spanish island of Ibiza.
That's exciting.
But the theme will continue. It will still be us talking shit.
And the wine will probably be cheaper.
The wine will be cheaper, and I hope better.
Just need a nice rosé. Anything's good. Or a Don Simon. Anyone who's been to Ibiza and gone and watched the sunset down on the rocks at Mambo, a little carton of Don Simon, well away.
It's like €1, isn't it?
Yeah, euro. It depends. Like you can get like the big bottles of Don Simon, which are like
€2.
two whole euros, and you've got a litre of sangria in your pocket.
I can't wait for that. I'm looking forward to a much simpler, kind of
less
cheaper
expensive time.
life.
Where a pint doesn't cost you £10.
Yeah, which will be fun. So yeah, very long story short, we're kind of starting this podcast right in the midst of us planning for a big move.
And that's really clever, because we need to add another thing to the list to remember while we're, moving
Oh no,
countries.
it's not like we're busy.
Never. That's right, I'm not doing anything these days.
Anyway, I'm going to take a little break for a little...
Sip. Wow. And this is what I've not missed. Jesus Christ. What do you want to do? Like, we've obviously only got 3 weeks left. Here, is there anything left on the bucket list that we need to tick off?
That's a good question. I don't think so, really. Like, we've been here 5 years, and I would like to think that anything that was sort of on our list of we've got to experience while we're here, because we never had a timeline. We never put a limit on ourselves. We could have very easily stayed here for another 5 years, or maybe even longer. But we always did commit to, if there's something we want to do, we're just going to do it. So,
and we've always been lucky enough to be able to do that as well. Like, we can just go and do what we want. If we want to go out to a restaurant, we can head out. If we want to go and stay somewhere, we'll go there. I think like the past, literally this month, I think I've booked a staycation every weekend. Just to I don't know, it's nice, and we can do it, and we're leaving, and it's just... And plus now, after the lockdown and the quarantine and everything we've had, the hotels are reopening. The pools literally opened on yesterday. The pools at the hotels literally opened yesterday. So now I'm like, okay, now we can go, and we can go to the Anantara and literally walk out of our room into the lagoon.
Which would be lovely.
Haven't booked that one yet, but that was me just testing the waters while we're live.
We're here for 3 weeks, and you've basically in your head you've got 6 staycations still planned in at some point. 4. Okay. 4. Staycations, I think, have been a highlight of living in the UAE, because we are not far away from incredible places all of the time.
I feel like you're really far away from your microphone. That's what I was saying.
Okay. Is that better?
Oh no.
Is that better? Can you hear me?
Stop. I remember my first glass of wine. It was in 2017.
It wasn't in 2017, was it? Gosh.
Oh dear. Yeah, I don't think there's anything we need to do. I still haven't, done a skydive, but...
You're not going to either.
Okay, that's that decided.
That is decided.
But yeah, a nice few staycations. You're excited for football.
Football's back soon.
Exciting stuff.
It will be.
And we're just going to do a few more things before we leave.
Yeah, and I think it will go faster than we think. And before you know it, I mean, technically, episode 4, maybe 5 of this podcast will not be coming from Dubai.
No, it won't.
And that's a hell of a thing to think about.
Only 4 episodes away of not being here.
Absolutely. So subscribe, people, because we'll come on this roller coaster with us.
Wow. I like that the people on YouTube will see your face there.
I know.
They'll be so much passion in your eyes.
Absolutely.
Oh my goodness.
So let's talk a little bit more about this podcast. What do you want to do with it? Do you think that we will carry on just sort of doing these chit chats, Is there anything else that you sort of see in the future for the podcast that our listeners can get excited about?
I think at the beginning, like the podcasts that I like listening to are people just having a chat.
Right.
And sitting there and having a chat and just talking through stuff. And yeah, some have a little bit of a setup or a kind of program throughout them. They ask each other questions and they're... Oh.
Sorry, just topping myself up there. And you.
Yeah, thank you. And I think there will be a format at some point in the future, but it'll be loose.
Yes.
It'll be a loose format, and we basically want to know what people want to hear. Like, do you want to listen to, like, what would make you listen to us for 45 minutes?
Well, that's the thing, and that's what I was going to say was, like, at the moment, we've bought all the gear. We have zero idea. Like, if you're following us on Instagram, at M&TPodcast,
At M&TPodcast.
right, you will have seen we've bought a mixer, we've bought microphones, we're buying stands, they're on their way.
Oh my God, we need
Can't
the
wait to have a
stands.
stand. Like, my arm hurts. Like,
So this is the difference between the bits that I ordered and the bits that you ordered.
what, mine's taking longer?
Yeah, you're slow.
Well, that's unfair.
Ah,
I bought it from a website. I
Yeah.
can't make them deliver quicker.
proof is in the pudding here.
Oh, pudding.
I knew you were going to do.
We didn't have
pudding.
dessert, did we?
No, we didn't need dessert because we knew we were coming home to a bottle of rosé.
That's not pudding.
It's sweet enough. Yeah, we'll have a format, but we do want to know if people want to hear
Yeah.
anything
So,
and what people want
'cause
us
we've-
to talk about.
We've bought all this stuff. We're committed to doing a podcast. Thank you so much for being a listener of episode 1 already. But we definitely want to send us messages on the socials.
And there is a way to do this in these times where you're joined on a Zoom. We could have guest questions.
See, well,
Send us a voice note for your question and it can be put in. Oh my goodness, I'm so clever.
wow. But yeah, we're making this for people to listen to.
Well,
So-
so we're making this
Well,
up.
we are making this up as we go along, but that's pretty much our life we're making up as we go along. But this podcast, we're making it so that, as you said right at the beginning, so that people who, I don't know, are interested at all in keeping up with what we're up to can hear. But if there are questions or even if there are suggestions of what we should do, maybe to challenge each other, maybe questions for me to ask you on a listener's behalf.
Wow.
I don't know. Who knows? Let's open Pandora's box and see what the hell comes out.
I've got a question for you.
Okay, cool.
When are you going to shave?
I'm shaving tomorrow.
Oh, thank God.
God.
You look homeless.
I am happy, and that is all that matters. No, I will shave tomorrow.
We know a barber. We literally know a barber.
We do know a barber. I thought you were going to say, we know Obama. And I was like, there's a guest for you.
Since when?
We know Obama.
He's a fan of the blog.
He is. Well, he's definitely going to be a subscriber and a listener of
I
the
reckon.
podcast.
Do they have a podcast? What podcast
What, the
do you
Obamas?
listen to? Like,
Me?
What are you listening to at the
Okay, the
moment?
podcasts I listen to at the moment, you're going to roll your eyes and be bored right now. They're all football related.
Is there an audio version of rolling your eyes?
I think it sounds like this. I think that's it.
I'll practice that.
That is a wife sound right there.
Oh, wow.
That is a
okay.
wife going. Yeah, all of the podcasts I listen to are football related because I've missed the football. And for some reason, even though there's no football on, I subscribe to about 3 or 4 where they've still been able to talk about football. And I love that because I still feel a little
They
bit...
must be clutching at straws by now.
No, because it's coming back, Tifla. Football is on its way back.
It's coming home.
Well, one day. but
Maybe.
Maybe not in our lifetime.
So you must listen to something else that's not football.
I listen to audiobooks as well.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So the audiobooks... Excuse me, the wine is kicking in. Oh, if you guys could see, I got a real wife eye rolling there.
Oh, YouTubers are going to just be like, oh.
But to be fair,
why
I
did you
did.
have to ruin the first
Podcast number 1, Matt's burped. But if you want to do a podcast where we're drinking wine and talking at the same time, you're going to have... I'm sorry, guys. If you're not a fan of it, unsubscribe, move on. You're at the wrong place.
You're bad. God. The podcast I'm listening to, and that's why I've got my phone out. And I did write a blog about this, but I have on mine the latest one, Grounded with Louis Theroux.
I listened to one episode of
Which
that
one?
with, what's her face from
Helena
whatchamacallit?
Helen
Bonham Carter. Helena?
Helena.
It's not Helena.
Helena Bonham Carter.
Helena Bonham Carter. And that was very good. I enjoyed that.
I then listened to the Boy George one, and I'm on the Lenny Henry one, and they're very good. I think it's just because I like Louis Theroux as well.
I think Louis Theroux would also be a good guest on this podcast.
Oh,
so far, we've got Barack Obama and Louis Theroux.
We are aiming to the top here.
Just waiting for those messages to come through Instagram.
So I'm listening to Grounded, and I'm also listening to Off Menu with Ed Gamble and James Acaster.
Now, I know, before you go any further, you're going to plug the hell out of this in the hope that you get on their podcast.
Oh my God.
Aren't you?
Oh my God. Yeah, so if you don't know, do you listen to it that much anymore?
I used to listen to it religiously.
So
I just kind of stopped.
In the same sense, it's basically they still have the guests on and they talk about their dream meal, and then it's all funny and stuff in between. But it's now always made me think about my dream meal and what I would choose if I went on there and the stories behind it. And I've got as far as poppadoms or bread, because it's really difficult for my dream meal because I love food so much. I read menus as a pastime.
You do, and it drives me mad.
I've started to read menus in Spanish now to try and learn. And I thought that was quite clever.
La tostada.
Yeah, that's all you need to know.
That's all you need to know.
Sangria.
How do you say beer?
Cerveza or caña.
I thought it was Biro.
No, it's cerveza.
I'm going to get on so well with the Spanish.
Oh, my God.
They're lucky to have me.
Oh, yeah. But, yeah, I want to go on the Off Menu podcast. Ed Gamble, James Acaster. I'm in there.
I'm
far, also listening to the James Smith.
Tiffler, I've just realised, on our podcast, we're currently plugging other people's podcasts.
Well, yeah, but if we're only going to give people 45 minutes a week, they've got a lot of other time.
Yeah, but what if they go to other people's podcasts? What if Louis Theroux, it turns out, is better at this than we are?
Well, let's think about that. Actually, no, because he has technical issues every single
Constantly.
time. And so far, all you've done is burp into a microphone.
Listen, right? This is real. That is something that we always are.
Oh,
we're
God,
real.
we're so real. Are we at 26 minutes?
We're at 26 minutes.
Do you want to fix... yeah, just...
All right, let's take a little break. Excuse me.
We can cut it. Oh, dear. Had it already stopped?
No.
Okay.
I think something that I'm definitely now that we're doing this, very conscious of. We're aiming for a 45 minutes, right?
And we're already at 26.
I'm less worried about that. I'm more worried about how quickly we're getting through wine. What we're proving is that a married couple talking utter shit can easily smash a bottle of wine in 45 minutes.
But this is one of those memes. It's like when you were younger, you thought a bottle of wine was a lot. But it's not a lot.
It's a starter.
Not even on your own.
It's a starter.
It's basically a starter. All you find out when you grow up is that a bottle of wine isn't a lot, cheese costs loads of money, and you can't go on as many holidays as you wish you could.
Yeah, don't grow up, kids. You're not going to get drunk on one
kids.
Bottle of wine. Well,
Yes.
Well, hold on. I'm also conscious.
I'm
Firstly,
now really conscious that he's going to listen.
Well,
and
yeah.
be like, he'll either be really happy he got a shout out on the first podcast or really mad that we're saying that he gets wine drunk.
so far the shout outs have been the vegan, Barack Obama, Louis Theroux, and Gez.
Tony,
Anyway,
the
so
barber.
what was I saying? I don't even know what I was saying.
Something about wine.
Something about wine. I don't know.
Jesus. But yes, wine goes down very quickly, especially in our household.
Yeah, because especially a rosé with a spritz, it's like a soft drink.
Yeah.
This is quite nice, though. I like this. I'm guessing we picked it because it was the cheapest in the shop.
Yeah, 33 dirham that bottle, everybody.
I think another thing that I would like to open up to our listeners is, well, firstly, recommendations of wine. But secondly, if you want to send us any.
And also, if anyone wants to send me a bottle of Whispering Angel, I'd be really happy.
I think the day that we do a podcast with Whispering Angel, it will be sponsored by Whispering Angel.
let's just manifest that. Anyone who believes in that kind of stuff, manifest that will happen.
If we believe it will happen, it will happen.
Sponsoring, like, would it be enough if, say, I bought Whispering Angel and we drank it and we could just say it's sponsored?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It's the world of social media. You just lie. Fake it till you make it.
Fake it till you make it. Oh, God, I hope that doesn't stop anything.
Doesn't.
Could you imagine? The laptop just went blank.
Oh,
we were just like,
while we're at it, we're at the half-hour mark, and it just crossed my mind while I was doing a little bit of fiddling with the tech. Absolute shout-out to Adam Taylor right now.
Oh, yeah, Adam Fabulous.
Again, for listeners who potentially have no idea who we are or have found us for some reason, because that could happen.
But you're welcome.
Adam Taylor / Adam Fabulous on all the socials, my best friend, absolutely nailed helping us set all of this up remotely, whilst also looking after his newborn daughter.
He did very well there.
He did very well. But he is a sound engineer. He is a techie from... he's based in London, and as soon as I bought all of this stuff and I knew nothing about how to make it work, I knew that I needed to call him. He helped us get it all working. He is basically our remote sound engineer / producer.
And he nailed it.
And he did.
Absolutely,
so thank you, Adam Fabulous. Here is a sip of wine for you, my friend.
Oh, yeah. Any excuse. I'll take it. Cheers, everyone. Oh, wow. I'm sure everyone... Is this like ASMR?
Oh, it could be. We could do an episode of just ASMR.
Oh, no, thank you. I move the microphone away when I, breathe too heavy.
Which is constantly. Oh, that's a thing that annoyed me during lockdown. Let's go back a little.
Hold on.
What annoyed me during lockdown? So, Tifla. During lockdown, I realised... So, we did a few things when, I would be with headphones on or you'd be with headphones on. So, we are literally sharing a room to do our work, but also not only work, but one of us might actually just be watching TV or watching a film or something while the other is working. We are literally sharing a tiny space.
Yeah.
What I realised is that when you have headphones on, you turn into Darth Vader. It's unreal. You don't breathe heavily, ever, until you have headphones on. It's like as soon as you can't hear the world around you... I couldn't believe it. And all you're doing is you're just watching RuPaul's Drag Race on Netflix. But you're like... I couldn't... It drove me insane.
Oh, yeah, so you wear the headphones. Fine, fixed. Done.
Anyway.
That's funny.
I thought I would share, because that is the one time that I nearly killed you.
I think it is funny, though, because you hear about a lot of people who are just like, I hate everything about my partner, especially in lockdown. And, if the worst thing is that you're breathing a bit heavy, I think we're okay.
It was only when you had headphones on. I don't mind you breathing when you've not got headphones on.
And it's not even if I've got my AirPods in. It's just my over-ears.
It's when you do sound-cancelling headphones, I think you just get into this zone where you become an asthmatic.
Laugh does not help, does it? I don't know whether we need one of those filters on these microphones. Because,
only for you. I don't need it. It's just for you and your massive lungs.
I can't help it. Oh, stop. Oh, can you go turn the aircon on, please?
No, because I think it'll upset the sound.
Do you really think it will?
It'll just be
Was it not on when we practiced the other night?
It could have been.
It'll be fine. Go turn the aircon on.
I'm going to put the air conditioning on. Excuse me.
I'll talk shit about you for a while. Oh my God, he's such a dick.
Is that on?
What?
Is the aircon on?
No, of course the aircon's not on.
Is it on now?
Yes.
There you go.
What an idiot. Anyway, swiftly moving on. What's coming up?
What do you mean what's coming up?
Well, it is the start of a new week tomorrow. Sunday in the UAE is day one.
It is.
Who is this one?
Which I think people still get used to. Our weekend is Friday, Saturday. And we'll have to get used to that change when we move as well.
Yeah, I started trying to do that. It didn't work.
Tomorrow being Sunday is still a day off of work for me. I'm going to go for a bike ride. And I'm doing a load of stuff for Lavello.
You're going to have to explain what Lavello is.
Yeah. So,
you can't just say I'm doing stuff for Lavello.
So I guess it's my turn to plug. Lavello is... What, has Barack Obama messaged you?
No, I've just been approved on Giphy.
Oh, big deal.
I'm so excited. Right, who gives a shit about Lavello?
Okay,
Giphy.
carry on.
Basically, what I've done, the past couple of days, making this podcast has turned into a little, mission for me. We accidentally made the teaser and we posted it up, didn't we? And then as soon as that happened, I was like, I'm not going to start trying to post this on Apple Music right now and on podcasts and on Spotify, because if I start now, I will get deep into it and then I won't be able to stop. So I accidentally tripped and fell into my laptop and started working that night, and we were up until half 12, midnight.
You were. I stopped.
Just trying to get this online, and I couldn't. There was an issue with the RSS feed that I couldn't get it to link properly, and it was really annoying me, but I couldn't just walk away from it because that's the kind of thing that stresses me out and I wouldn't be able to sleep. Then I realised that you can make stickers for Instagram. Do you know the gifts that you put on and you do silly things with them?
And this is because you were thinking about how you're going to promote.
Yes, I was thinking about the social media journey of our brand.
Wow.
Because we are now a brand.
I'm so sorry, guys.
And so then I went to bed that night after getting the podcast on the internet. That was great. So I was like, oh, that's enough. I'll go to bed now, 12:30. And then I laid there, could not sleep. About an hour, I laid there going, I need to make some gifts, and then I need to make some artwork, and then I need to do this, and then I need to get it on the blog. And my brain would not shut off. So the next morning, we was going around. I was off to our friends for a barbecue, and I was supposed to go to the gym in the morning. But instead, I sat on my laptop, and I was just like, I'm just going to make some gifts. So I made a ton of gifts. You walked out shaking your head, went to work. You were like, I'm just going to leave you to it.
You become obsessed with things. But anyway, long story short,
I've just been approved on Giphy, and that means I can use the stickers on Insta Story.
So that also means people would be able to find our gifts.
And you should be able to find them by searching M&T Podcast.
Okay, well, that's exciting.
That is exciting.
We have our own gifts on Insta Stories.
As soon as I'm off I've been approved. I'm really happy.
Put your phone down.
Oh, but I want to play.
Put your phone down.
Oh,
Put your phone down.
Dear. All right, you can tell people what Lavello is now, because I'm sweating from explaining that.
Wow. She'll start breathing heavily in a minute.
I'll move the mic away. I'm sorry.
So Lavello, after I was very rudely interrupted by Tiff's exciting update. Lavello is a cycling brand that myself and John Ashmore, another good friend of mine, that we created. We've been working on it for quite a while now. But yeah, we've created our own brand of cycling gear. And yeah, I've got some work to do. We've got stock in country now. I'm doing some promoting of it online. I just kind of want to get the word out there. But yeah, cycling kit is readily available.
And it's fit. I love it.
It is really good, and those people who have
really
got
nice.
it have already said that they really like it, which I love, and that makes it all worthwhile. So tomorrow, after a bike ride, I'm going to do some work on some Lavello stuff, and yeah, probably just enjoy a bit of a day off before I get back into work mode, which is fairly time consuming.
Well, yeah,
because it's work, and it should be, and that's what's expected. So yeah, tomorrow's a fairly chilled one. What are you doing tomorrow, my dear?
Well, I try and plan my week out on the Saturday, so I did a little bit of planning. So I'm meeting one of my clients tomorrow.
Oh, are you in person?
Downstairs.
Nice.
In Starbucks, because we have a Starbucks in the building.
Of course we do. It's Dubai.
Yeah, so I've got a meeting with my client, and then I've been back at the gym for 2 weeks now, which I'm pretty happy with. So this is week 3 I'm rolling into, which is pretty good. I've done pretty well. And so I'll go to the gym, I'll do my client work. I'll obviously be posting this up because it's hosted on my website. So
yep.
Matt you'll figure out the audio.
I'll do all the techie stuff and make it work.
Well, you'll save the audio file and send it to me.
It's a lot more complicated.
I'll do all the techie stuff.
Yeah.
Right. I'll add the theme tune at the end.
You're an idiot.
So yeah, I'll make sure that's all ready to go. And it's generally pretty chilled. I think I want to spend some time this week getting a tan.
Okay. Where are you going to go?
Probably to the villa.
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
Or I'll go down to the beach or something. I think like this week is a good week. I'm not super duper busy. I'm going to do some stuff for myself, write some blogs for my website, and yeah.
All right.
Plan out my week.
Well,
Doing my Spanish lessons. I've been slacking on those.
Yeah, you do need to keep it up because I'm not doing any. So
I have been slacking, so I've actually planned them in my diary on my laptop to do Spanish lessons straight after lunch.
Okay.
So lunch, Spanish.
That sounds like a good idea.
So I'm going to do that. Yeah.
All right.
That's it, really.
Well, that's what the week ahead looks like for us. We're going to try and make these every sort of Saturday. We're going to sort of record them every Friday, Saturday, that kind of thing, so that we can get them out for the new week for everyone on Monday mornings, right?
Yeah, Monday they'll be live when you wake up on a Monday. So whether you're on your way to work on a Monday morning or heading to the gym or whatever, then you can listen on a Monday. And I feel like in my head now, I feel like we've done a lot of talking to each other, but talking to people listening.
Yeah.
And I feel like in the future, because we've had to explain a lot of things in this one. This has been a
episode
lot of like,
one. I mean, who
and
knows?
I just think like in the future, it's just going to be us chatting shit, because that was the original name of the podcast.
The original was Chatting Shit with Matt and Tiff.
But apparently Apple won't promote swear words. Shock. So we had to change it to the M&T Podcast, which fits our brand just fine. But
but the theme still runs through, which is we just talk shit.
Yeah, I think it's gone quite well.
I think it's gone well. I am really, really keen, and I know we've already said it already, but for people to just send us like
feedback,
thoughts, questions. Is there a feature? Is there a theme? Is there a question? Is there something that people would enjoy hearing from us? Because then we can just put it in, because we're making it for other people.
Yeah, if anyone has questions,
for us.
I think maybe on like a Friday morning, we should pop on our social medias any questions for the podcast this week, because then they've got 24 hours until we record the next one.
Do you know what? You've said it now.
It's a great idea. It's going to happen.
Like, people can send us stuff any time of the week.
I know, but I just feel like purposefully we should do it on a Friday.
Okay.
As you know, as a brand.
It's quite stressful, isn't it?
Maybe for you.
All right. Well, we're at the dregs of our bottle. I think maybe podcasts last as long as the bottle does. Maybe that's the thing.
Oh, I'm going to buy Magnums.
Oh God! For 3-hour-long specials, Tiff is going to buy Magnums. But there you go. That's it. Podcast number 1, where we have literally just done what we said we were going to do.
I think the time's gone a lot faster than
chat.
we thought.
Crap.
Than I thought it would. Time's gone quite fast. We're at 41 minutes.
Do you know what? If anyone's got this far through, well done. Congratulations and thank you.
We should give like a prize at the end or something.
Would you give a prize to your listeners for getting to 41 minutes?
That discount, I've got a boohoo code. I don't know.
How do you know that they got this far? Unless, right, you say code word like 11...
Sausages.
Okay. Code word sausages. If you message us the word sausages, we
God.
Know that you got this far.
What you should do, it should be like an emoji, and then they can get back to you on your Insta stories and stuff.
Okay, so send us this. Is there a sausage emoji? I don't think there is, because that would be well used, wouldn't it? Okay, eggplant. The eggplant emoji.
Why are we using eggplant?
Eggplant emoji. Oh. If you have got this far in the podcast... And
also, in other weeks, it's going to be at different points in the podcast, so people don't just skip to the end.
Okay, shut up. God, you don't stop. I'm trying to wrap up. If it's not obvious, I've been trying to wrap up for 3 minutes. If you have got this far through the podcast and you're still listening, thank you so much. And we apologise for wasting 43 minutes of your life. Send us, either one of us, just the eggplant emoji on Instagram, on Twitter, on Facebook, whatever, just so that we know that you got this far, and then that way we can know whether we are losing people after about 5-10 minutes.
I'll be able to tell by the analytics, but that's okay.
But this is a much more fun way.
Yes.
Screw analytics. I want people to send me basically dick emojis. That's what I need.
Oh yeah, and by the way, very quickly.
Fuck you! Don't stop.
No, but very quickly, we don't normally swear in our YouTubes.
We don't.
We don't swear in blogs or anything like that.
No.
Because sometimes nieces and nephews are listening and watching. Yeah. But
I
we
love-
now don't give a shit.
No, do you know what? I love that we got to 43 minutes before we warned people that there might be swearing.
I'm not warning anyone.
Right now, we've got nieces and nephews going, Mum, what's a dick?
I'm not warning anyone. I'm just explaining it.
Oh, dear. Anyway, before we absolutely lose the plot, that is us. We hope that you... Yeah, just finish your wine, love. We hope you enjoyed us talking utter shit.
Yeah.
We hope you also enjoy our theme tune. You would have already heard it at the beginning. You're about to fade into it again. We think it's fun.
We think it's quite Spanish, and that's why we chose it.
Nothing more than that. We thought it was quite Spanish. And we hope you enjoy it. And we hope it gets stuck in your head for days.
Okay. Love you, bye.
Love you, bye. We'll see you next week. Thank you so much. Subscribe, do all the things you have to do.
Yeah,
Bye-bye.
we'll do it. Bye.
Bye now. Bye.